guys, so this isn't the promised miraculous video, I am aware, but I hope you'll forgive me and enjoy this video anyway. I'll try to get the miraculous video out next week. If I don't, I'm sorry, but here is another Avatar themed video. Hope you enjoy my human AU of Avatar characters. Also, tell me how you feel about my new mascot for the intro. So I'm not going to be going through these speed paints in the exact order that I drew them. I'm actually going to be going in the opposite order that I drew them. But that's because I wanted to start from oldest to youngest and characters that we see and stuff. So I'm going to be redesigning the characters from specifically Avatar: The Way of Water. And I'm going to be making my own human AU universe for them. So as I get into the speed paints, I will talk more about this new human universe where like Pandora doesn't exist basically, but yeah, I've redesigned them all as humans. Well, 3 of them for this video. So the first character up is Jake Sully. The first thing I actually did for Jake's speed paint is make a rough sketch of a wheelchair, because if you haven't watched Avatar or you don't know, is basically there is already a human version of Jake. So yeah, but that human version of Jake is in a wheelchair. He was a Marine and he lost his legs fighting a war. So human Jake already has a wheelchair. So I wasn't going to change that. Basically, I'm just rewriting. So basically, as if Pandora didn't exist, but the characters did, basically. So the new law is that Jake was still a Marine, and he's getting used to the human world now that he is this world now that he is in a wheelchair, and he decides to apply for this job, which is like a sciencey job because his brother, because this brother he had a twin brother in the original that died, so they kind of need him for some experiment maybe that they're working on. And basically Grace is the person that works at this facility of sorts, but like the boss of the facility is Neytiri, or more importantly, Neytiri's dad and mum. So Neytiri is next in line, and she's also to be wed to someone like Sute, because for extra like money, profit, whatever, for the company. So Jake goes there to help these sciencey people do their sciencey stuff, and Quaritch, who is also Marine, is trying to basically shut down their program, so that way, because he doesn't feel like the science that they're doing is worth all the money being put to it. He thinks that it should be put towards something more valuable, like the army, the Marines, getting them better weapons to fight these wars, these upcoming wars, and whatever. Obviously, Jake is like, sure, I'll help, because Quaritch promises his legs back. But then eventually the whole thing of Jake falling in love with Neytiri happens. She falls in love with Jake, and he falls in love with her. And yeah, and instead of like the whole mating before Awa thing, they find out that Neytiri is actually pregnant. So this becomes a big thing, and obviously it's not Sute's, because Sute and Neytiri weren't allowed to do anything until their wedding night. So this causes a big uproar, and her parents are kind of like, well, there's nothing you can do. I mean, he's still kind of a good guy. So yeah, raise this child with him or whatever. Which, and then Jake confesses that he was trying to shut their company down, which then annoys Neytiri, and Neytiri gets annoyed, and she's like, no, never mind, I'll still marry Sute, and he'll just have to parent this child, and all that stuff. She then ends up taking over the company, and basically the plot of like the 3rd movie, but in a human, yeah. And then eventually Jake comes back with some sort of symbol to show that he is different, he is new, he is ready. Something to symbolize that he's Turok Makto, basically, from the Avatar films. And then Neytiri's like, oh my god, maybe I can't marry this guy because I obviously love you. I'm sorry, I was just scared. The company is all I know and all I've been raised to do. I don't really know what else I was going to do. I was scared, and all that sort of thing. So then they eventually get married, and that happens. Now, for the second film, I haven't really thought much about it other than I want it to be that they have kids now. So then maybe a similar thing happens where they're in danger because Quaritch is back and they don't know what to do. So they have to move to a new country and basically start from scratch over there, which Neytiri is heavily against this idea. But yeah, so she goes obviously along with it, and for her kids' sake and all that, um, you know, but Jake is obviously just trying to protect his people. Since I'm not really designing any Mechaena clan people in this video, I'm not going to go into detail about the second movie, other than the fact that the only reason why I mentioned it is because the characters in this video I have redesigned as if they were in the second movie, basically, by their age. So Jake is 37, Neytiri is 33, and the final hidden character is one of their children, you'll have to guess. But yeah, anyway, back to Jake's speed paint. I had a lot of fun drawing him actually, and his wheelchair. The only thing I didn't like is that I feel like it kind of doesn't look like Jake. I mean, it kind of does, yeah. It was also my first time drawing a wheelchair. I was thought it'd be funny to make Jake and him have his avatar self having a funny interaction of you're short, you're tall, haha. Damn. Also, yeah, so basically Jake is just Jake, how he would be. And the reason why I drew their Navis was to show like a height difference and like the similarities, but also the differences between the two. Also, drawing Jake was super easy because he already had a human form. But other than that, that's my Jake speed paint. And we're going to move on to the next character. Next up is Neytiri. Something I'd also like to add, I know Neytiri's last name is not actually Sally, but since these drawings that I am drawing takes place in like the second movie era, uh, her last name's gonna be Sully. I know it's like actually Mowatalu, something like that. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, Neytiri. But yeah, so all of the characters that are related to Jake in a way will have the last name Sully. Just click little thing there, yeah. Anyway, a bit more of Neytiri backstory since we did a bit of like the Jake and Neytiri stuff in the Jake section. That she obviously had an older sister. I don't know, maybe something happened to her, maybe she wanted to follow a different destiny, a different path, and trying to work for this company that her parents have raised her to do. So she either dies or she gets lost or she just runs away entirely and doesn't come back. So then Neytiri has to take on this role quite quickly. I'm gonna say that Neytiri would have started training when she was 18. No, 16. And then when she was 18, she was supposed to get married to Sute, which didn't end up happening. Obviously, what you heard in the Jake part. But other than that, yeah, basically Neytiri was raised almost her entire life anyway to also be prepared to one day take over the company just in case anything did happen to her sister. So she was always the backup, she was the plan B. But also, she wished she could have had just a normal life, just not waiting for the day for her to take over the company. But she also loves the company and loves the people, and she will do what's best for her family and everything else. Obviously, Jake was a bit of an outlier. She had to kind of train him to how the company works, and obviously, she soon fell in love with him. Um, and then obviously, she got pregnant and couldn't marry Sute and all that stuff that I explained in Jake's part. But with her design, I originally was going to give her a purple suit, not gonna lie, but she kind of did slay in. But I decided to go with blue to match like her Navi, which would have blue skin tone. Considering they're still like Navi to human redesigns, I did go with the blue, but I kind of wish I did keep the purple after this all. But hey, she's blue now. What can I say? I also did give them all yellow eyes still. Um, because I just couldn't find an eye color that really suited her that, didn't quite look wrong. Also, it's my aunt. I can do what I want. She doesn't really look like Zoe Saldana, but that's okay. I did kind of take inspiration, but not really. I also thought it'd be cool, Jake being like white and Neytiri being black. Their children are obviously gonna be mixed race, which I thought could be something fun to kind of work with, considering I've never really worked with like a family before or mixed race, like to draw with, like with characters. So I thought it'd be fun. Anyway, we'll get on to the final character of this video. And lastly, which I realize I spoiled, is Neteum, my personal favorite character. So, as I said, and as you might know, Neteum is my favorite character in the entirety of all the movies. And I'm not gonna lie, I spent the longest on his freaking his drawing. I started off by using the symmetry roller and just, trying to make him all symmetrical and stuff, but then I realized that didn't matter because I wanted them to have somewhat cool poses, and his symmetrical face just looked wrong with the body and how I drew it, and yeah, anyway, new story Neteum. So obviously he's the child that uh Jake and Neytiri conceived in the beginnings of the first movie. He wasn't born until later, but for specifically for the sake of the second movie, he is older now. So because there is no movie one Neteum, because he was a literal infant, not even, he was barely developed fetus in the womb. I can only talk about him in the second movie. And something that I kind of didn't think about was what he's really gonna do in the next movie. So obviously they still have to move city. So I'm thinking maybe instead of making them move country, maybe they move city. But I think moving country would be better. But maybe they lived in the city and the country that they moved to is more on the beach and stuff, like how the Mechaianas are. And basically, uh, they have to start a new life at a new school, and hopefully, yeah. So they gotta deal with the struggles of dealing at a new school, and dealing with the struggles of a new school. Oh my god. So basically, he's gonna deal with the struggles of being the eldest Sully child, an unconceptual what the fuck is it called? A unplanned baby, um, all the legacy that his father and mother have lived up to, also his life of training to be the next person to run the business, and that's all thrown out the window. And now he moves to a new school, and his brother's being a little shit, and he's just dealing with all that. He's got to deal with all that. Also for his design, and I made him next to his avatar self. I was like, "Where's your clothes at?" Because I thought that'd be funny because Navis don't wear a lot of clothes, so I thought him meeting his Navi self would be funny. I do realize I made his human self a bit too tall compared to his Navi self, but that's okay. His clothes, I wanted Nateum to look specifically a lot like his mom. I wanted Nateum to look specifically a lot like his mom because it made sense. Like, because I already think that Nateum, also having a similar sounding name to Neytiri, takes after Neytiri a lot, especially in the movies. So I thought that maybe he would have more jewelry inspired by his mom. He is lighter than his mom because, he's mixed with whatever. I thought instead of making his whole head braids though, him having like a few braids in his hair and his hair being out would be really cute. I made him have purple pants to match his Navi self with the purple pants and the cyan top. I do kind of wish I did a different color for the top, I'm not gonna lie. And I made him have cute accessories and stuff. And something that I'm kind of not ashamed to admit is I'm an Angong and a Tam shipper. I'm sorry, they were just okay. They were gay. So maybe he'll have a gay pin on him somewhere. I don't know. Also, I find it funny how him and Angong make a gay flag. Anyway, this is my Nateum design. I hope you like him. I really liked how he turned out myself. Comment down below your favorite one of my designs or anything to do with the lore. Anyways, guys, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Um, So next week should hopefully be that miraculous video. Don't forget to comment down below who your favorite was. Mine was Nateum. And I will see you all next week. And bye bye.